Good morning, and welcome to Sundays with Yvette, the Conservarican. Thank you for sharing another Sunday morning with me. I have to tell you, it's been a week full of action. This week, it was my birthday on Friday, June 5th, and I had a wonderful day. Many birthday wishes from my friends and family. I want to thank everyone that wished me a happy birthday. I truly appreciate you in my life. I am blessed to have you all in my life. So thank you so much for your birthday wishes. As we all know, this week there were some protests. We know what happened to George Floyd. It's a horrific tragedy. And those that have been charged with his murder will soon face justice. And that's how our justice system works. I try to go back and I can't figure out what was the cop thinking when he did that. I don't know. There was no reason to put that knee on his neck, on George Floyd's neck. He was handcuffed. And then for the other ones, I believe it was 4 other cops to stand around and not do anything about it. It's kind of puzzling. And their behavior have created violence in cities across our country. Let me make it clear. My heart goes out to George Floyd's family. That should have never happened. It should have never happened to him, and it should never happen to anyone, regardless of the color of their skin. Saying that, I have to say that the looting and the destruction that happened in cities across the United States in no way will give justice to George Floyd. Martin Luther King was a great man, an amazing man, a great leader. And he always said that violence was not the answer to fixing racism. He said, love and kindness was the answer. And he was one that taught us a lot because he was all about peace, equality, love, and he accomplished quite a bit. And even though we're not there yet, because I know we're not, we cannot excuse for a minute the violent actions that happened all across the United States. Yes, we have problems. Yes, there's racism. And the case is, we have to be honest and we have to be realistic. That's always going to exist. We're not going to get rid of it. What we can do is bring awareness, but peacefully. As you all know, I am Puerto Rican. And I have to say, I've been discriminated against. I've been called a spick. But you know what? I have to go on. And instead of giving up, instead of running away, instead of hiding and giving those people the pleasure of defeating me and bullying me, I get involved in the community. I put myself out there. I get involved in the community. And lately, I got involved in politics. As you all know, I am a Republican. And I am a Republican because of my conservative values. So I started getting involved. And when I go to my meetings, I have to be really honest with you. There's not much diversity there. But it's because minorities don't get involved. And if they do and something happens, the answer is to walk away. Well, guess what? We cannot keep walking away. We can't do it. Because the only way we're going to bring awareness to the issues, it's by getting more involved. It's by having more representation in Congress. It's by having more representation in the local elected offices. Having more representation out in the community. That's how we solve things. That's how we bring awareness. Not by destroying and looting people's businesses and properties. Why do we want to do that? Why do you want to destroy something that somebody built? I mean, there's been cases that firemen that put everything he had. A Black American, a fireman that put everything he had into his business. And he was getting ready to open the business and they destroyed it. And now he has nothing. He was left with nothing. How does that bring justice? The white man that got beat up by 5 or 6 guys, it was all in the news, kicking, and I think they even hit him with skateboards. That doesn't bring justice. The 77-year-old Black American retired cop that was protecting a pawn shop got shot, got killed. How does that bring justice? We should be ashamed and we should be condemning that behavior. We should not be applauding that. And for this Hollywood people and all these elite people that they think they're better than the rest, to place a fund to bail these people out, they're the problem. Because there's no justification for that kind of violence. Yes, we know what the cop did was wrong. Yes, we know it. And he will face justice. Justice will be served. He was charged. And he will have his day in court. Just like the other 4 that were standing around. That's how our justice system works. And yes, I know there's problems. I know there's racism. But it's not only here, it's all over the world. And violence is not going to fix it. More than ever, we have to stick together. More than ever, we have to work together. And let me tell you something, not black, white, brown, yellow, doesn't matter what color your skin is, your life matters. every life matters. Even the life of a baby in the womb. Even that matters. And we need to make sure that we tell people that every life matters, regardless of their color of their skin. Because you know what's happening with George Floyd? They have used this tragedy to literally create more division. Because guess what? I'm Puerto Rican. And I know that when Puerto Ricans kill Puerto Ricans, it's not a big deal. To me it is, but to other people it's not. Just the same as with Black Americans. When Black Americans kill Black Americans, I guess it's not a big deal. You don't hear anything. I mean, Chicago. How many people die there every night? Innocent people. Nobody cares. It's not important. There's no outrage with that. Oh, but wait. A white cop pulls the trigger or kills a person of color, and there's the outrage. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't be outraged, because what that cop did was wrong. But what I'm saying is every life matters, and we should be outraged when people of the same race are killing each other. We should be outraged when babies are being aborted. And I don't see the outrage because it doesn't fit the narrative. It doesn't push that agenda. Let me tell you something. I've been discriminated against, but I don't think every white person is a racist. I don't think every black person is a criminal. I don't think every Latino is it's in a gang. I don't think every cop is a bad cop. Because there's good and bad. There's good cops and there's bad cops. There's good teachers and bad teachers. Good employees, bad employees. That's just the way it is. So what do we need to do? Just weed out the bad ones. Oh, but let's see. Why can't we weed out the bad cops? Because of the unions. And the intent of unions were great. I mean, they were there to protect employees. But what happened? Greed. It became like self-serving. And those in power are the ones benefiting from it. And this is why sometimes you can't get rid of bad cops. But for the most part, our cops are great people. They put their lives at risk every day to keep us safe. And then when we see these things happening with a bad cop doing something as horrible as this man did to George Floyd, then all of a sudden now everybody attacks all the cops. And now all the cops are bad. And now law enforcement is bad. And now we have to go out and kill them. Why? They're humans too, you know? This needs to stop. It is time that we come together as a country. We are better than this. This is not who we are. And the time has come to realize that they're playing us. Because the only way evil can conquer, it's by dividing us. So let's not play into their game. Let's not play into that game. I know we have a problem. We all know we have problems. Let's work on solutions. Violence is not the answer. It will never be the answer. Hate is not the answer. I'm sure we all have had our experiences. Like I said before, I've been discriminated against by white people. I was sexually assaulted by a black man when I was in college. I don't think all white people are racist. I have great friends that are white. I mean, some of my best friends are white. They're great people. Because not all white people are racist. I have great friends that are Black Americans. That one bad experience is not going to make me hate the whole Black American community. Why? Why should I hate a whole community because of one incident? Because of one incident. That was one person. We shouldn't. And we should make our own decisions when we have all the facts. Because what I see a lot of is just blind loyalists. It's just blind people, just somebody says something and because you know the person, oh yeah, it must be true. They don't research. They don't look for facts. They just assume. There was a protest this weekend in my city, Marco Island. And it was mainly by high school students. And let me tell you, I live in a really nice, peaceful community. We're very tight here. It's a small community, so we all know each other. It's a great place. And this week we had the protest, which were organized, of course, by outside forces. And most of the participants were our high school kids. And for the most part, I have to say it was peaceful. They walked in the streets. The cops were there making sure that everything was, peaceful and in order and nobody did anything stupid. And, some people were recording, just regular citizens, not a reporter or anything. And there was an altercation with one of the guys that was recording. He was white. and this black girl, she's 22, smashed the phone off his hand, and she got arrested. Then later on, I guess the cops found a 30-year-old white male with an AR-15, and he got arrested also. So, oh my God. Somebody created a fund now because they feel like we got to bail the girl out. But why? Why should we bail her out? First of all, nobody has the right to touch another person unless you're defending yourself. In this case, the white male that was recording, that's all he was doing, recording. So she kind of jumped him and took the phone out of his hand for no reason. Except because he was recording and they told him to stop and he didn't. I told my children, I have a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old. They didn't go to the protest. And I talk to them all the time about race. Because, of course, they were born here. And I'm Puerto Rican. So I want them to know that we're all equal, regardless of the color of our skin or economic situation. We should treat everybody the same. I always say, I treat people the way, because of the way that they treat me and my experiences with them. And, and I just don't, however you treat me and how you act with me, that's the opinion I have of you. I don't listen to gossip. I don't care what anybody else thinks, only what I think about you as a person. So I try to teach my kids that. We don't judge. We don't judge people because we haven't walked in their shoes. And we shouldn't be judging anybody. So we've had these discussions, and we had the discussion about the protest. But I tell you something, if it was one of my kids that did that, I think La Chancleta would have been flying across the protest. For those who don't know what chancleta is, that's flip-flops. In Hispanic households, flip-flops are they're a great way to get somebody's attention. They sometimes they fly across the room, and that grabs someone's attention. As a kid, if you grew in a Hispanic household, La Chancleta was like, yes, Mom, right away. So La Chancleta would have been there. Because what are we teaching our kids? That disrespect is okay? That because somebody is doing something that you don't want them to do? I mean, the guy wasn't even arguing or anything. He was just recording. So she didn't want to get recorded, so that gave her the right to hit the phone out of the hand. No, nobody has the right to do that. Just like having difference of opinions. I mean, there was Facebook, forget about it. It was crazy. It was crazy, with opinions and then accusing this one of that. I mean, this whole protest just created a big issue in our community. So what are we going to do about it? Well, we're going to do a few things about it. Now that our kids are getting involved and they want action, we will help them get action. So we're going to organize different forums, and we're going to talk about race, and we're going to talk about what nobody wants to talk about. which is the reality. The reality of what goes on in the inner cities and the reality of what racism is. And the reality of pushing a narrative when tragedies like this happen and taking advantage of the pain of human beings just to push a political agenda. And this is what that is, a political agenda. Because since the beginning of times, they have been trying to get rid of this president. Let me tell you something. And I hope you hear me. This guy was elected. We had elections. We voted, and he got elected. When Obama was elected, we had elections, people voted, and Obama got elected twice. And Republicans stayed quiet. When the 8 years went by, we went back to the polling, to the voting booths, and now we have a Republican president that they have been trying to destroy since the day that he took office. That is unacceptable and that is un-American. So in November, we need to get out and vote. I'm not telling you how to vote. All I'm saying to you is that we need to get involved. I know who I'm voting for. I know what's important to me. I'm not going to play those games. I have my own brain. I can think for myself. I know what's best for my family. Do you know what's best for your family? You should. Because the government doesn't know what's good for your family. They don't care. All they care about is your money. So they can spend it, waste it. That's all we are to them. So this November, go out and vote. Because what I tell people all the time is, if you're going to complain about things, if you're going to complain about inequality, if you're going to complain about being mistreated, if we're going to complain about being discriminated, we better do something about it and get involved and speak up. Use our voice. Because what happens most of the time is people complain, but when the time comes to speak up, they don't. They just like to gossip. So this November, let's get out and vote. And let me tell you, Democrats are not doing anything for the minorities. Nothing. President Trump cares because he's working for all Americans. Not some, he's working for all Americans. And we are Americans. All I'm saying to you is, do your research and think what is best for your family, and then make the right choice. Our country, the future of our country is at stake. And we're in danger. This is the greatest country in the world. This is why we came here in the first place. So don't forget that. Don't forget why you came here in the first place. Don't forget why you left the country you came from. Don't forget that. And make the right choice when you vote in November. Thank you for being here with me. I appreciate you guys every Sunday. And don't forget to always stay true to yourself and never give up on your dreams, even when nobody else believes in them but you. Your values are non-negotiable. Stay true to yourself and don't let anybody silence your voice. Thank you. God bless you. And you have a wonderful Sunday. Until then, see you next week.